see everybody. Good to see comrades from previous campaigns down through the years. More important, good to see a lot of new faces and new comrades as part of the campaign here. I'm old enough to remember a lot of the campaigns where we started out with great intentions and ended up with division. And I think that's what John was emphasising in his speech about the need for unity, and not just a mishmash of unity or some unity based on nothing, but genuine unity that's going to see us through to get to where we need to be. And I think sometimes when we put together a conference like this and we get the speakers that we need and we get the topics that we need, we might sort of take our eye off the ball of what we want to get out of this. And really we want to finish today with the sort of unity that's going to make a difference. I think it's a real progressive development, the alliance of trade unions that came together to form Right2Water. And it's never been exclusive. It's been the more the merrier, right along the way, as it should be. But it had to start somewhere, and it started with the 5 unions that are now on board. The politicians that are part of this absolutely have to be part of this campaign. And the left has to build that strength in Ireland. The possibilities that we saw before the last election, where the left was shown 40% in the opinion polls, and that was all just wasted, in my opinion, in terms of the government that was formed and the austerity agenda that government moved on to. So the unity that we need to build among good comrades who have been in politics and are dedicated politically to changing what we have in this country. We've also got to embrace the community, and a community that's been solid as part of the campaign, out on the streets where our strength has been, not in fantastic speeches by anybody, out on the streets with people from the community, from the trade unions and from the left that have built this alliance and have built this Right2Water campaign. And essentially what we're doing is building the strength that we need politically, so that, for example, after the first march and demonstration, had the government just abolished water charges? Was that the end of everything? Was that the end of the revolt that had started amongst people right across this republic, wanting to build the proud republic that we can build here? Not what's happened since we had the full employment in this country, the end to emigration in this country, the start of immigration, the country starting to look and feel better, and a country that we could be proud of, being destroyed by the greed that was at the top of this system. And this didn't just happen. And when we look at austerity, sometimes the word itself can become a cliche and not really understanding what we're describing. We're describing the austerity that's been inflicted on people, the jobless communities that exist in this country, the homeless people that are in this country. For the first time since the famine, we have families facing eviction. All that homeless that's been inflicted on people by the banks and by people at the top of the system. All the unemployment, the immigration of our young people. That's what austerity means. And it's not something that was inflicted on us because we've done something bad in a previous life. It's not something that just happened, or because we partied. Remember that nonsense? Because we all partied, we're being punished with austerity. We've got to see austerity for what it is. All that's been inflicted on us is a political choice. It's not inevitable. It's not something that we have to suffer to sort of get to some better place in this country. It's been inflicted by people who are committed to the mantra of deficits, the elimination of deficits, and to hell with how it affects ordinary people. Austerity has to be done, and it was inflicted right through those 8 budgets, or whatever the number of budgets has been, 2, I think, special budgets, and 6 of the annual budgets. All of the austerity that's been inflicted on people. And we're told now that, no, you're moving into a better place. You've got the opportunity for the restoration of pay, provided you don't ask to have it fully restored. We'll talk to you about what you might do in return. All of those measures being imposed suits a political agenda. And it's not happening just in this republic. It's happening right across this country. It's happening in Northern Ireland. It's happening across Europe. So that's what brings us together here today, and our comrades that are here as guest speakers will talk about their own country. So we can build that sort of unity, not just in the communities around this country, but around Europe, there's a possibility of us doing what needs to be done. It won't happen automatically. So we've got to come out of the conference today with a clear idea of what keeps us unified. And that won't happen automatically. All of the challenges that are sent to us, we've got to stay united. We have a union which organises across the whole country, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland. We have those challenges every day. Republic of Ireland versus Northern Ireland issues. In Northern Ireland, Catholic versus Protestant, orange versus green, all that sort of challenge every day of the week. Within the movement, we have the public versus private argument. And the government, if we're honest, has been some way successful over a few years in dividing public and private sector workers. We've got to dedicate ourselves to the strength and the unity within the trade union movement that will make us stronger. But the real strength of this campaign and what we can do here is the unity that we need between the unions, the politicians and the communities. And we're going to have arguments and debate and disagreement. That's healthy. We don't want anybody dictating to us. But we need that sort of unity that brings us together and makes us strong. And we've got to look at what the possibilities are in the next election. What are the possibilities if we have that sort of unity? Can we start discussing amongst ourselves how we would agree a programme? I think Brendan is going to outline some of the ideas that we have in terms of the big issues like unemployment and the defence of our public services and all the stuff that's in the health issues, and all that will be outlined as we go. Could we build an alliance amongst ourselves that would say to each locality, here's the people that are part of our campaign, here's the people that have come together to make a difference, and you can see the programme that we're standing on, and we can exchange votes or whatever the best language is on transferring support for each other. But staying together, not just saying, right, that's the person there in such a locality and we all have to go in one direction, or we're splitting in 100 different directions. Let's stay dedicated to uniting our campaign. All of the struggles, I can see people in the room, they're working out in communities, struggling for a few euro to even stay in existence. The bite was put on me very quick when I came into the room, but all of those people banging their heads off a wall in trying to get the sort of finance that they need. For what? To do basic things in communities. Basic things. And when you look at the announcement of the profit of one of the banks today of 1.2 billion, a few hundred euro in some of the communities is what's making the difference. You know, the few euro that we give to John Bissett to be part of the Mayday parade later on today in Dublin, organised by the Trades Council. The few hundred euro that we give John to make sure that that spectacle of hope and defiance is part of what we're doing on the streets. That's repeated across communities, widespread across the country, needing that sort of support. They shouldn't have to struggle in the midst of all this wealth. The government are making the choices, they've made the choices, we've got to stand up to them. So, where does water come into all this? Water is another part of what they're doing under austerity. Charging for water, water charges, all of that campaign, they were so arrogant that we had moved through, that the Irish were so quiet. Why aren't the Irish demonstrating? They're accepting everything. They took that as meaning we'll charge for water. We'll inflict water charges. They won't do anything. And what we found when we set out on this road was that people had enough. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back. And people are still saying, we have enough. You can put in your reforms, cheapen the water charge, bring it down to some other level. We're not accepting that it stays there. So that's what unifies us, and that's what we're dedicated to doing. Abolish the water charges and abolish Irish water. And I think if we stick together, we can achieve what needs to be achieved in this proud republic of ours for the people that live here and the people who are dedicated to building that sort of republic. Thank you.